Direct. This is WrestlePod. Welcome to this, the first of our WrestleMania specials leading up to WrestleMania 34. I'm Ian Beaumont, good to have you with us. So, we're going to be reviewing WrestleManias over the next few weeks here on WrestlePod. We're going to be looking at the best matches. We're going to be looking at the best WrestleManias, but we are going to start at what I consider to be the worst WrestleManias of the bunch, and we do a top 10 worst WrestleManias. But before we get to the top 10, I have to do what I call here a dishonorable mention, because there's nothing honorable about being mentioned on this list. And my dishonorable mention goes to WrestleMania 12, and it pains me to say that. Why does it pain me to say that? Well, WrestleMania 12 was the first WrestleMania pay-per-view I actually watched live, so it does hold somewhat of a special place in my heart. But still, what can I tell you about this card? It's mostly painful. The Tag Team Championship match didn't even make the main card. It was on a free-for-all. And you can't watch those on the network yet, so you don't see you can't watch the Body Donners defeat the Godwins for the Tag Team Championships. That's bad. You got the British Bulldog, Owen Hart, and Vader in a 6-man tag match against Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna. Okay match. Watchable. Just not great. Roddy Piper against Goldust and Hollywood Backlot Brawl. Started off okay. Kinda. They did a sneaky thing in that they started off in a Hollywood backlot, quote unquote. Then the two actually drove to the arena. And what did they do? They stole footage from the O.J. Simpson chase of 1994 and that white Ford Bronco to use between. Oh God, that just took everything out of the match for me. And the end of the match was again okay, but again I can't really rate it more than about watchable. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Savio Vega. Look, it was a decent enough match. It was a reasonable television match, but for a pay-per-view, only watchable. And not really WrestleMania worthy. Undertaker Paul with Diesel. I gotta say, better match than most of the others on the card. Diesel was never great. Even when he was at his best in WCW, he wasn't great. He was okay, but he was carried somewhat here. But then again, Undertaker can make most people look good. And then that was a decent enough match. It was mediocre. If it could have been a little better, it might have raised it a little bit, but I don't know. But then you did have the one match that wasn't even Raw worthy, it was only superstars worthy. Yes, this was a match you should have had on WWF Superstars at the time. A returning Ultimate Warrior defeating Hunter Hearst Helmsley in 1 minute 39 seconds. Boom. Squash match. Superstars level match. That's really all it was. A lot of people said at the time, oh, you gotta see the Ultimate Warrior. He's cool, he's great. No, he wasn't. And it's got nothing to do with what he says outside of the ring. Inside of the ring, he was a one-trick pony, and he was, really, really poor. And awful. The only match that merited its place on the card, and boy did it merit its place on the card. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. The 60-minute Iron Man match for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. The best damn match on the card that night by a long, long way. It was an awesome match. It was absolute perfection, in my view. It's one of my favourite wrestling matches of all time. Not merely favourite WWE, but just about any promotion you could care to. You show me a match you think is better than this. I will challenge you to show me a match you think is more perfectly done than that. I don't think it can be done. I think it's absolute perfection. It's one of my favourite matches of all time. So, but it's on a card that, frankly, was at best mediocre and at worst downright awful. Ugh, not good. But still, that's only just outside my top 10 worst. So, let's start with number 10. WrestleMania 25. And I'm not even going to have a go at them for marketing it as the 25th anniversary, because it was the 24th. I think that's a small fry compared to the rest of the rather serious problems I had with that card. You see, again, apart from one match made that card. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. It's a hell of a match. And yet the rest of the card. Okay, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy Extreme Rules match. That was decent, but I kind of thought that was probably a good enough match, but it really, really would have benefited from being perhaps a main event on a B show, because I don't know that being part of WrestleMania did that justice. The things that kind of irked me overall: Rey Mysterio defeating JBL for the Intercontinental title in 21 seconds. Yeah, I get JBL, not the best wrestler, but 21 seconds, come on. I actually felt bad for JBL at the end of that. That's not usual for me as well. John Cena, Big Show, Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. I couldn't really care for that too much. It was a decent enough match, but again, I didn't feel like it was anything. The Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. Oh dear. That was genuinely awful. I literally, it was cringy. That was cringy as Chris Jericho defeating Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and Roddy Piper in a handicap elimination match. Ugh, no, didn't like that either. And the Money in the Bank ladder match was okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had the right winner there in CM Punk, but Finlay, Christian, Kane, Kofi Kingston, good. Mark Henry, MVP, yeah, okay. Shelton Benjamin, yeah. I like, some of the participants here were good, and some were... no. I really... And Triple H, Randy Orton, oh dear. They took all the heat out of that by having this stupid stipulation that if Triple H had been counted out or disqualified, he would have lost the title. Took the heat right out of it. Sorry, some decent matches, and Triple H, and to be fair, Triple H and Randy Orton performed well, but you took the heat right out of that one. Not impressed at all. Number 9, WrestleMania 15. Somebody out there is going to go, huh? You had Stone Cold versus The Rock. How on earth can you rank this as one of the worst WrestleManias? Pretty easily. Let's be honest. You had a decent triple threat hardcore match for the hardcore championship. Al Snow, Billy Gunn, Hardcore Holly. That was okay. That was, you want a good hot start for a pay-per-view? Hell, that was a good hot start. No problem with that. Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart defeating D'Lo Brown and Test for the Tag Team Championship. Bit short. Butterbean, Bart Gunn. Oh dear. Ball for all match, 35 seconds. Boom. Bart Gunn's career ended just like that. Oh boy. Look at that. Listen to this. Mankind against the Big Show. The winner would become the special guest referee in the main event. Why? Why have a match at a pay-per-view? At a pay-per-view. Never mind at a WrestleMania. At a pay-per-view. That was for the right to be a special guest referee in the main event. Oh, no. Right. Road Dogg, Goldust, Ken Shamrock, Val Venus, Four Corners elimination match for the Intercontinental Championship. Actually okay. Kane defeating Triple H by disqualification. Kane had China in his corner. Yeah, that whole thing just, again, yeah. Because of what happened later on, that whole thing just kind of irks me. Sable defeating Tori for the Women's Championship. Sable wasn't great. Tori wasn't great. Forget about that one. Shane McMahon and X-Pac for the European Championship. Damn good match. Hey. Way to elevate X-Pac. Way to elevate the European Championship. Because, to be fair, I mean, okay, Shane was champion, he retained, but it was a good match, all told. Can't complain too much about that. Undertaker, Big Boss Man, Hell in a Cell. God. And then the no DQ match with Mankind as a special guest referee between Stone Cold and The Rock. It wasn't their best match. It really wasn't their best match. And it was weak. Look, I'll say this. The other thing, as well as having a match to become the special guest referee in the main event, you had on Sunday Night Heat a tag team battle royal to determine the number one contenders for the tag team championship that came up later on in the pay-per-view. I mean, come on. A little bit weak on the match booking there. More than a little bit. I mean, it wasn't the... there were some really good matches, but... that bullfall. Ugh. Number 8. WrestleMania 1. Oh, dear. You know, I have to say, I've given it as much leeway as I can because it was their first pay-per-view type event. In this case, it was closed circuit. I'm gonna say, it was okay-ish. But if you want to talk, firsts, the first Starrcade is actually better than the first WrestleMania. And that was about just under 18 months earlier. And it was better. Not by a huge amount, to be fair. Because, to be honest, at this time, most wrestling was only mediocre at best. But I wouldn't say it was... I wouldn't say it was particularly great. I mean, the whole event was only about 2.25 hours. That's short. To be fair, you had Tito Santana defeating the Executioner, Playboy Buddy Rogers in a mask, in just under 5 minutes. Okay. King Kong Bundy taking out Special Delivery Jones in about 9 seconds. Ricky Steamboat defeating Matt Bullen. Brutus Beefcake versus David Sammartino, double DQ. Oh dear. Junkyard Dog defeated Greg Valentine by countout for the IC title. Oh. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov defeating the US Express for the Tag Team Championships. Andre the Giant defeating Big John Studd on the Body Slam Challenge. Yuck. Wendy Richter versus Leilani Kai for the Women's Championship. Wasn't a good match. And let's be honest. The main event, Hulk Hogan, Mr. T and Jimmy Snuka, Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper, Bob Orton, with Muhammad Ali and Pat Patterson as special guest referees. Good God, man. That was a clusterfuck. It wasn't a great event. They had a lot to learn. And thankfully they did. But not by the next year. We'll talk about that later. But it almost feels kind of harsh, really, to put this one so far down the list of WrestleManias. But unfortunately, that's where it ends up. Because it really wasn't that good. Number 7. WrestleMania 32. Ooh. I'm going to say this. This is going to annoy people, I know. But even the Roman Reigns Triple H match, that was not the worst match on the card, but it was the worst way to end off. And you had such crazy booking for this. I mean, the only match that was really great was Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks for the inaugural WWE Women's Champion, for the brand new at the time. Charlotte coming into the match as Divas Champion, retiring the belt, and I would say that was the best match of the night. Though, to be fair, Undertaker Shane McMahon was not bad. I'm gonna say it. It was quite a good match. Surprisingly good. Considering we hadn't seen Shane McMahon in a ring for 12, 13 years or something like that. Yeah, it'd been a long time since he wrestled. Zack Ryder winning the IC title was a surprise. No, he lost it 24 hours later. What was the point? League of Nations defeating the New Day was a surprise. 24 hours later, they're breaking up. What was the point? Brock Lesnar defeating Dean Ambrose in a street fight. What was the point? Chris Jericho defeating AJ Styles. What was the point? There were a lot of those matches. Baron Corbin winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, facing off against Fandango, Damian Sandow, Shaquille O'Neal, Big Show, Victor, Diamond Dallas Page, Connor, Tatanka, Jack Swagger, R-Truth, Goldust, Curtis Axel, Adam Rose, Heath Slater, Tyler Breeze, Mark Henry, Bo Dallas, Darren Young, and Kane as well. What really was the point? Baron Corbin didn't get much of a push after that. Rock versus Eric Rowan. What was the point? 6 seconds. I mean, really, There were only 3 matches here that had any point to them, and one of them nobody wanted to see the result that we all knew was coming. And sure enough, did come Roman Reigns defeating Triple H for the WWE Championship. Yeah, WrestleMania 32 did feel kind of pointless. Sad to say. Number 6. WrestleMania 27. Ooh. Now, I know this is going to rankle some people because you're going to say, first of all, hang on a minute. You had The Undertaker against Triple H. Yeah, it was a good match. No holds barred. And hey, it kind of worked out pretty well. You had Edge defeating Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay. But then you had, well, what can I say? You had Randy Orton defeating CM Punk. A little screwy on that booking, but I didn't like that. I'm gonna say as well that, you had Big Show Kane, Kofi Kingston, and Santino Marella defeating Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett in about 90 seconds. Yeah, and perhaps worst of all, you had Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler with Stone Cold as a special guest referee. And it didn't even end the feud. And also you had The Miz defeating John Cena because The Rock interfered. Way to just completely pull the rug out from under The Miz if you hadn't completely pulled it out already before that, long before that, but really bad. Really, really bad. I just could not get 27 just felt, again, too weird. Too out there. So, Right, now we're getting into the top 5. The dreaded top 5, I think I'm going to say here. Number 5, WrestleMania 11. Look, 1995 was a bad year for the WWF. There's no two ways about that. You had a pay-per-view card that, well, wasn't the worst and wasn't the best, but hey, at that time it was respectable. Lex Luger and the British Bulldog defeating the Blue Brothers. Okay. Much of a muchness. Razor Ramon defeating Jeff Jarrett by disqualification for the IC title. Screwy finish. Mania. Undertaker defeating King Kong Bundy. Okay. Owen Hart and Yokozuna defeating the Smoking Guns for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Bret Hart defeating Bob Backlund in an I Quit match with Roddy Piper overplaying it as the guest referee. Diesel versus Shawn Michaels. Hey, good match. WWF Championship. Love. Shawn Michaels made Diesel look great. To be fair. Should have been the main event, really. But you had Lawrence Taylor, formerly of the NFL, versus Bam Bam Bigelow with Pat Patterson as special guest referee. It was a decent enough match. Taylor did a good job. I just don't think it should have been the main event. But I'm prepared to give it somewhat of a pass, as it was a very passable match. So that's one reason for me why WrestleMania 11 doesn't quite make it to the worst of the worst. But it is it just about makes the worst, the top 5 worst. But it's not. I mean, it's bad, but at least it put some effort in. There's more than going to be said for a couple of those lower down, but it's just a combination of a card that really wasn't that great, combined with just the fact that it was a bad time for wrestling at that point. Even WCW weren't doing great. So, I can't say it was, and I can't put the blame really on Lawrence Taylor or anything like that. I just have to say it was a poor. It was just a generally poor card. And that's just the way it is. But as I say, 11 had excuses. Number 4, WrestleMania 7. What was WrestleMania 7's excuse for being this bad? Because, let's face it, it was... You had a huge card. 14 matches shown. Rockers, the Barbarian and Haku. Good start. Can't say it was great, but good start. Texas Tornado defeating Dino Bravo. Okay. British Bulldog defeating the Warlord. Okay. Nasty Boys defeating the Hart Foundation for the Tag Team Championships. I never was into the Nasty Boys. I get they were getting ready to move Brett on from being a tag teamer into being a singles competitor, but I wasn't big on the Nasty Boys. Still not. Jake Roberts defeating Rick Martel in a blindfold match. One of the worst stipulations in wrestling, that one. Because you blindfold match is horrible. Undertaker defeating Jimmy Snuka was quick, but was quite good. Quite a surprise, actually. Ultimate Warrior defeating Randy Savage was technically his retirement match. Randy Savage made Warrior look good, but it was a good feel-good moment at the end, but that was a nice feel-good moment there. But I just, again, I don't rate the Warrior as an in-ring competitor. Now then, Genichiro Tenryu and Koji Katao defeating Demolition in about 5 minutes. Okay. Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship. Perfect retaining after Boss Man wins by disqualification. Again, much of a muchness. Earthquake, Greg Valentine. Legion of Doom defeating Power and Glory in about a minute. A minute! Jeepers. Virgil defeating Ted DiBiase by countout. Yeah. Look, I get these were supposed to be the big matches, but only 4 matches make it over the 10-minute mark. And the rest are given almost no time at all. The Mountie defeating Tito Santana in 1 minute 21 seconds. And then finally Hulk Hogan defeating the newly turned Sergeant Slaughter, Iraqi sympathizer. I just did not like that whole storyline anyway. I still don't. It is simply the fact that the card was too many matches with too few matches given too little time. Out of that 14 match card, you have 6 matches that don't go over 5 minutes. 2 of those do not go over 90 seconds. That's not on. It's one of the reasons WrestleMania 7 for me is so bad is just, as I say, the lack of quality in this card. I mean, yeah, you had the Rockers. Great. But you had them against the Barbarian and Haku. British Bulldog against the Warlord. The Hart Foundation against the Nasty Boys. Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior. Undertaker, Jimmy Snuka. Great. Mr. Perfect, Big Boss Man. Legion of Doom, Power and Glory. Again, just too many matches where you had the really good wrestler just been pulled down almost by the opponent. I didn't like it. You might think it was a great pay-per-view. I gotta be honest. Nothing there kind of filled me with any... None of the matches, for me, feel like they belong on a pay-per-view card, really. And... well, I say that Undertaker Jimmy Snuka does. Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage retirement match does, even though I don't rate the Warrior. But I fully agree that putting Randy Savage's retirement match at WrestleMania, yeah, right idea. And yes, I like the fact that the championships were defended here, but come on, better booking. Much better booking required. Number 3, WrestleMania 2000. Biggest tagline for this was a McMahon in every corner. Oh dear. Yeah, that was the worst thing about WrestleMania 2000. That main event with a McMahon in every corner. I mean, I did not like that at all. I think it took away from what should have been a much better main event than what it was. They detracted from it. They did not help it. But to be fair, you had a triple threat match, a 2-fall triple threat match for the Intercontinental and European Championships, where Chris Benoit takes the IC title and Chris Jericho takes the European title, both of them taking those titles off Kurt Angle. Hey, I'm all for that. That was a good match. I really like that. Other than that, the rest... the Hardcore Battle Royal was kind of fun. I gotta admit. The Hardcore Battle Royal was kind of fun. I gotta say it. I am sort of... kind of happy that we had some of the hardcore matches that we got were surprisingly good overall. They weren't complete and utter, they did okay with them. Other than that, though, you had Bossman and Bull Buchanan defeating Godfather and D'Lo Brown. Test and Albert defeating Al Snow and Steve Blackman. And then you had the Triangle Ladder match for the Tag Team Championships. Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys. Absolutely brilliant. Top match. But then you had Terry Runnels against the Cat. You had Chandler and Too Cool defeating the Radicals. Kane and Rikishi defeating Road Dogg and X-Pac. Oh boy. Yeah. 2 good matches in a 9-match card. And it should have been at least 3, but for the McMahon in every corner. So yeah, that's all I can say about that one. Number 2. Oh, WrestleMania 9. The pain gets even worse with this one, because this one honestly was an absolute... Oh. Listen, you had a good match for the IC title to kick things off. Tatanka versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels holding on to the title because Tatanka won by a countout. It was a good match. No problem with that one. And you had the Steiner Brothers defeating the Head Shrinkers. I gotta say, Steiner Brothers were alright. Head Shrinkers, not so much. Doink the Clown versus Crush. What? Razor Ramon defeating Bob Backlund in a decent-ish match, but wasn't that invested. Money Inc. defeating the Mega Maniacs, Brutus Beefcake, and Hulk Hogan by DQ. Lex Luger, Mr. Perfect. That was okay. Undertaker, Giant Gonzalez. Undertaker winning by disqualification. Jeepers. That was a bad match. In fact, I go as far as to say it was dire. Yokozuna, Bret Hart. Which then led to this stupid little sequence. Hogan coming out, Mr. America coming out to defend Mr. Canada? Oh, good God. I don't buy it for a second. I really do not buy this for a second. It was... It was bad. Yeah. With pay-per-views, you should always at least end it on a good match. But Hulk Hogan defeating Yokozuna in 22 seconds, not a good match. But still, even that little shit show pales into insignificance compared to number 1, WrestleMania 2. The only WrestleMania held on a Monday. That's already off to a bad start right there. You had the entire event split between 3 locations. Nassau Coliseum, the Rosemont Horizon, and the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. Okay. Let's go through this, because it is an awful card. And I feel sorry for the people at each of these locations, because they only watched 1/3 of it in their own building. And the rest of the time, they're watching on screens. Oh, you thought Raw 25 was bad? For what they inflicted on the poor people at the Manhattan Center? That way, nothing compared to this, mate. Nassau Coliseum, Magnificent Morocco and Paul Orndorff fighting to a double countout in less than 5 minutes. Randy Savage defeating George the Animal Steel for the IC Championship in just over 5 minutes. Jake Roberts defeating George Wells in a bit over 3 minutes. Mr. T defeating Roddy Piper by disqualification in a boxing match that lasted 13 minutes. Okay, decent length, but still. Ugh. And that was it from the Nassau Coliseum. Then you went to the Rosemont Horizon, where you had Fabulous Moolah defeating Velvet McIntyre. Less than 90 seconds. Corporal Kirsch defeating Nikolai Volkov in a flag match in just over 2 minutes. A flag match, 2 minutes. Andre the Giant winning the WWF versus NFL Battle Royal. And in terms of participants, you had Andre the Giant, you had Bret Hart, you had Jimbo Covert of the Chicago Bears, Pedro Morales, Tony Atlas, Ted Arcidi, Harvey Martin of the Dallas Cowboys, Danny Spivey, Hillbilly Jim, Ken Tonga, the Iron Sheik, Ernie Holmes of the Pittsburgh Steelers, B. Brian Blair, Jim Bunzell, Big John Studd, Bill Fralick of the Falcons, Jim Neidhart, Russ Francis of the 49ers, Bruno Sammartino, and the Fridge, William Perry of the Chicago Bears. All in a battle royal that took 9 minutes or so. And then you had the British Bulldogs defeating the Dream Team of Bruce Beefcake and Greg Valentine in a decent 13-minute match for the Tag Team Championships. Not too bad, but still tough to recover after those 3 matches. And that was it for the Rosemont Horizon. And then in Los Angeles, you had Ricky Steamboat defeating Hercules Hernandez in about 7.5 minutes. Adrian Adonis against Uncle Elmer. A 3-minute match, that one, that Adrian Adonis won. Hoss Funk and Terry Funk defeating Junkyard Dog and Tito Santana. Decent length. And then you had King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan in a steel cage match for the WWF Championship that went over just over 10 minutes. Wasn't even the longest match of the night. Did not like that at all. Quite honestly, it is probably, and I haven't seen every pay-per-view I want to look at, especially the old WWF ones yet. So I'm gonna hold off on declaring it the worst, but it is the worst one I've seen so far. Not the worst of all time, but it's the worst one I've seen so far. And not impressed by it at all. Hell, there have been better Saturday night main events and clashes of champions. Clashes of the champions from WCW. That were better than this. Hell, there have been additions of WWF superstars that were better than this. So, there you go. The top 10 worst WrestleManias of all time. Oh, dear. That was hard work. Thankfully, next week, we're going to be at the other end of the list with the 10 best WrestleManias that I have seen into. So, I'm going to leave that with you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? with the rating that I've used on this. Do you disagree with the fact that I've called WrestleMania 2 worse than WrestleMania 11? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Support this channel on Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. Until next week, thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Stay tuned.